What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? Welcome to Flat Earth Friday. Of course, tonight we have our live stream that we're doing at 8:30 p.m. Central, so please be there if you want to join in on the Flat Earth fun. But today we are looking at a few debates that I've either had or I have helped host in the past week or two. And the first one we're going to look at is Southern Israelite. Now, it's not going to be the full debate. If you want the full debate, you need to go over to the Non Sequitur show, and I will have all relevant links down there. Also, guest appearing today in the video is going to be Team Skeptic as well as Fight the Flat Earth. So all of those links are going to be down below in the description, and I highly suggest you just subscribing to all of these guys. But first, I have my debate with the Southern Israelite guy, and then it's going to be Team Skeptic versus Flat Man, and then there's Fight the Flat Earth versus Flat Earth Jesus. So if you're interested in seeing some highlights from these debates, then please stay tuned.
GE, I tell you what, GE, do you want to go while
yes,
he gets
for
that to
God's
me?
sakes,
And
yes.
that way we don't have to wait.
Yes, I will go. Okay, what's up, heathens? How y'all doing? So today we're yet again discussing the shape of the earth. It's amazing to me that the number of people that learn big words only to demonstrate that they have no fucking clue of how to use them properly. There are several proofs that I can give for the shape of the earth. There are obviously photos taken directly from the ISS that show the globe, or the pictures of Starman from the Tesla car. There are pictures taken from the Discover satellite using the Epic camera. I'm sure that for my opponent, all of these pieces of evidence are just Illuminati hoaxes, or they're CGI in some way. In any case, I know that these pictures will not satisfy the flat earther crowd for one reason or another. So what can I show you that will prove the shape of the earth? I'm honestly asking here because so far the only thing I can figure out is that you guys have an unfalsifiable narrative that you cling to, much like a dingleberry clings to your ass hairs. I could tell you that ships going over the horizon and being visibly obstructed by the curvature of the earth proves that there is a curve. You will steadfastly misunderstand mirages, perspective, light, and even how vision works. I could also tell you that even if you had 8 miles in your field of vision, like across, that would only make up 0.12 degrees of the curve. So of course you wouldn't be able to visually detect it. I could explain how you would need to go up much higher, and even then it would only be barely discernible. You would need to be in low Earth orbit or just under that in order to see the kind of curve that you want to. I could explain all of this to you, and you would not accept any of it. Not because it isn't good evidence for the curvature of the Earth or the Earth being a globe, but because you have an unfalsifiable narrative. Even when you run your own experiments and prove yourselves wrong, you just make up reasons as to why the experiment failed because it didn't verify your own particular beliefs. You can never come to know the truth of reality with an unfalsifiable narrative. So let's just assume for a second the Earth is flat. What would this entail? Well, first, your first problem is gravity. Gravity is both a law and a scientific theory. It has been proven over and over again. Gravity explains how our planet became an oblate spheroid that it is today. The flat Earth idea requires gravity to not exist in order for its shape to make any kind of sense. So if gravity doesn't exist, then what keeps us on the Earth? What makes things fall down? I know you people love to say that it's density and buoyancy, but I would also love for you to explain exactly what those things are, because I'm betting that you can explain them. Explain the formula for the buoyant force without gravity. You can't, because gravity is an essential part of the universe and an essential part of that formula. Buoyancy and weight are an effect of gravity, and density has nothing to do with weight. Without gravity, how would you even explain buoyancy? I would love for you to explain the basic laws of motion to me and then apply them without invoking gravity. You can't do it. Next problem you have is the Coriolis effect and the measurable spin on the Earth. This effect has several ramifications. For one thing, the jet streams wouldn't be a thing if the Earth didn't spin. Hurricanes, cyclones, and typhoons wouldn't occur without the spin of the Earth. Bob from Globebusters actually proved the spin of the Earth using a $20,000 ring laser gyroscope. He detected the 15-degree per hour rotation of the planet, which then he said actually detected the heavenly energies. He said that this detecting a 15-degree spin per hour would actually prove that the Earth was spinning. But as we know, that's not what it proved to him. It just proved to him that for some reason, gyroscopes on the Earth detect the movement of the sky. So, how would you react to this, Southern Israelite? Do you just shrug that off and explain your way around it? If you do, then you're going to be just as disingenuous as Bob is. Now, another problem is the tides. How do those even fucking work? We know scientifically that the moon and sun's gravity affect Earth's gravity in a way that it produces sort of a squeezing effect on the top and the bottom of the Earth, causing the high and low tides twice a day. Part of that particular model is that some places will only experience one tide a day due to the moon's orbit, the geography of the planet, and what time of the month it is. How do you explain this on the flat Earth model? I don't think that you can without making shit up on the spot. There are so many visible bits of evidence that the Earth is a globe that it is amazing that we even have to have this conversation in 2018. I was going to bring up eclipses and how that would work on the flat Earth, but you would just pull mysterious black planetary bodies out of your ass like a few that got stuck up there. While you cite some ignorant people from the 7th century as your proof. That's not science. All you have is word salad, and honestly, I prefer a 12-ounce New York strip. So I guess in conclusion, I would say that the consensus that the Earth is a globe is indeed what is truly the situation about the shape of our planet. You can't explain your flat Earth model at all without pulling shit out of your ass, like black planetary bodies that appear out of freaking nowhere to make the sun and moon disappear during eclipses, or however you explain the tides. I still don't know that, and I would really love to hear it. So please, I've asked you a few questions in this intro thing here. So if you will answer those for me at some point, and I know I would be grateful. And I guess I'll yield the rest of my time to Southern Israelite.
Godless. All right, fine. Godless said, "What would it convince me that the Earth is a globe?" And I've said numerous times, my position is not unfalsifiable. All you got to do is do a north-south circumnavigation along the continuous longitude. I already had this conversation on here last time, in the last debate, so you obviously didn't watch the debate.
You said that your narrative isn't falsifiable or is falsifiable because you'll accept a pole-to-pole flight. I mean, I guess you're disregarding it's Pan Am Flight 50 that's actually done the pole-to-pole thing like I don't know 3 times. So I mean, it's possible for you to do that if that's the kind of evidence that you need. But also, I feel like you're pushing the required evidence into an area that you can't get. It's a lot like the God of the Gaps argument. You're just moving the goalposts into an area that you know can't be satisfied, and so you can stay steadfast in being right. That's a bit disingenuous of an argument there, I'd have to say. So, I mean, I don't know when that next flight is. The latest article that I found on it was from this year, so I don't know. It's possible that you could do that, but whatever.
Pan Am Flight 50 is not a single longitude. And I showed that. I have a whole video on the Southern Hemisphere. I go through all the pole-to-pole flights. Pan Am Flight 50, the Polar Bird 1 flight, Transpolar '08 flight, which is a complete joke. That's not even remotely even close to being through the pole. Polecat 1965, the ZQ Pilot flight. I mean, none of them are along even close to a continuous longitude. And, you know, I know we have problems with the Southern Hemisphere you have problems with the Southern Hemisphere. You have to admit there's some things about the Southern Hemisphere we don't understand. So no, I don't consider your Pan Am Flight 50 to be a proof. It's not even close to a continuous longitude.
The pole flights. It's always going to be something that's not exactly correct. Fairly certain that if you were put on a plane going from pole to pole, you would accuse somebody of knocking you the fuck out and just showing you when Antarctic was over the plane. I mean, it's always going to be some kind of excuse as to why whatever you experience or whatever you're shown is not proof of the globe. So you have an unfalsifiable model, even when you say that it's falsifiable.
Model.
Well, let's talk a minute about the balls version of this story. Jaron has pointed out before about how Google Maps has 90 east and 270 west, not as a straight line from any one point, but rather making beelines directly for the equator, right? You guys have seen that argument?
No, I don't really follow what that idiot talks about. He's not very intelligent.
Well, I disagree with you. I think he is very intelligent.
The math will not add up if the Earth's surface is flat. Okay, first off, we have to assume that the Earth. Are you agreeing that the sun is at least larger than the Earth? Yes, based on the equinox observations.
No, I won't agree with that.
Then okay, well, then you're going to have a hard time understanding it how the lines of light come in parallel to the Earth.
Well,
if it's small and local, then trigonometry really upsets your model.
Can you show us how that would work if it's small and local? I mean, I'm curious. How would that work? If it's small and local, let's say, I don't know, pick a number, 33,000 miles away. Even if the Earth is flat, it's still a pretty decent sized Earth. So how would people at different latitudes see the sun at the same position in the sky unless it was far away rather than localized? How would that happen?
Here's the thing is that the sun is going to move with you as you move. It is within your own atmospheric dome, as Jaron calls.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say
what?
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't. Oh my God. Let me get my bell ready. Ryan,
okay, wait a minute. Wait, I'm getting ready for this. Can you please repeat this? Hang on, I'm gonna get ready for this.
Instead of actually seeing half the universe as you guys think, you see.
Oh my God.
Your eye's ability to resolve the world outside of you, okay? And it just so happens to fit itself into a dome because your eyelid, what's the back part of your eye called? The light shines on. Your eye.
The retina.
The retina.
No, the back part of the retina. The iris is in the front.
All right, let me define the horizon.
You do not have an atmospheric dome that is around you that is separate from an atmospheric dome that's around Steve and Godless Engineer and myself. We are surrounded by
everything revolves around me. We already know this for a fact. I'm gonna go with that. The universe revolves around me. So if I existed, yeah.
Wow. Absolutely, you have your own individualized perspective that you cannot separate any observation from, and it's astounding that people try to. To me, let me define the horizon for you.
Sixth in your class, was it like a liberal arts high school?
No, it was a Catholic high school with a bunch of overachievers, and I still finished sixth without getting a book home because I'm a fucking genius.
Sixth is genius? So what is the top five then?
Overachievers. They were overachievers. Listen, I got a 34 on my ACT without ever opening a book, without ever taking a practice test, without doing anything. All right?
Being able
to
recite information and understanding the information are two different things. You clearly do not understand the basic problem that exists with everybody seeing the sunrise in the east on the equinox. Okay, this is a fundamental problem for you guys. Okay, now I want you to think of something. Okay, conceptually, imagine the flat Earth map. Okay, now draw a line from the North Pole to the south of Argentina. Okay. Now, where that line ends in the south of Argentina on the equinox, no matter how far away from the North Pole you get, you're going to look east. You're going to look along that straight line. And we're not looking along a curved line. We're not making calculations as to where east is actually going to be. No, they're going to look 90 degrees away from due north. And that sun will 100% rise there. How do you explain that on a flat Earth?
This is how I explain it. God put up the cross, and he sacrificed man to the age of Pisces. One of the things he sacrificed was the cardinal directions. We do not understand the cardinal direction. And
Flat earthers
It's
do
not
not
going to go to.
understand cardinal directions. You're absolutely
Wait, we don't
right.
understand the cardinal directions. Hey, team, do you
Flat
know what a
Earth.
Well, what
cardinal
is the
direction is? Do you understand north?
I
How are
absolutely
there?
know
Okay.
from
How
my
are there any
position which way north, south, east, and west is.
Doesn't everything lead exactly to space? I mean, how are the directions on a ball?
Hold on. Okay, so flat man, how did God sacrifice directions?
He allowed the ball, and the whole crazy 23.4 degree tilt, and I don't understand it all completely, but I
We know
believe
that.
I believe that the
No offense.
heliocentric
I'm not
hope.
trying to diss on you at all. It's just that I
That's
don't
fine.
think you understand
Well,
anything.
no, but I mean, he at the same time he can't claim to know it's all false, but then not know like how it's
Right.
false or why it's false or anything. It's kind of an internal contradiction. I mean, do you understand like how that's an internal contradiction there? Because you're saying that you have enough knowledge to know that it's false, but you don't have enough knowledge to explain why it's false or anything like that. Like it's a weird thing.
I've got a lot of other sort of crazy theories, which may or not get to today, but I do believe that once upon a time, where we lived, Earth itself, it's a living organism. It's basically absorbing sunlight, the energy, by plants, solar plants, basically. They absorb the energy from the sun into their leaves, and they grow. They absorb the crap out of the ground, this decomposing matter, and it's a living, breathing organism. And it keeps on growing. The sea level has always been rising, but what's happened over a period of time is all our giant trees have been cut down, and we're basically living amongst the ruins of them. The mountains we see, the ruins of decomposing what were once living trees. You've got your messes, which look exactly like a cut-off tree stump. I don't know exactly who did it, but my theories are that giants once did this to us, and they put the moon up there to mock us. My theory for the moon is my strongest theory for why the floating, spinning outer space ball that you like to believe in basically says is impossible. The moon cannot exist around the floating, spinning space ball because it's very simple. If you, for example, you've got a car sitting still, you start walking around the car, you can go a constant speed to go around this car. You can do it all day long. You're walking 5 miles per hour, whatever. But as soon as that car starts moving, even at 5 miles per hour, you have to speed up and slow down and speed up and slow down and speed up and slow down in order to stay a constant distance from it, which is what the moon must be doing. But in heliocentric belief, which is all about the Son of God, says the sun is also going 510,000 miles per hour through the galaxy. So not only are you going around the Earth at this constant speed, constant distance all the time, but as soon as your car takes off at 100 miles per hour through space, how the hell are you going to remain a constant distance from it without adjusting your speed the whole time? Now, I know you're going to tell me orbital mechanics and all the rest of that sort of shit. Gravity. Gravity's the answer for everything. But you go ahead now.
That constant distance to the moon. Right. Your misunderstanding here, again, is based on gravity. We are not looking at the moon chasing us, which is also chasing the sun. We are looking at gravity wells, which orbit each other. The gravity well of the Earth-Moon system is what is orbiting the sun. The moon is within a frame of reference of that gravity well. So it isn't chasing anything. It's orbiting its own gravitational well of the Earth. And then that gravitational well of the combined Earth-Moon system is what is orbiting the sun. So everything you said there is basically you misunderstanding everything, you fucking idiot.
You're trying to say that the moon is in some kind of well? I mean, how does that work? I thought, your space-time is bent and all this sort of shit. In reality, that doesn't work. Everything works according to density and buoyancy. And maybe you don't understand but it's pretty basic. Is that the density of air is not sufficient to give buoyancy to physical objects. No, come on, it's my go. You shut up a minute. The density of air is not sufficient to give buoyancy to things of physical matter. So things of physical matter will take the path of least resistance until they find a place where it's arrested and they find buoyancy. And then once the object is at rest, it stays at rest unless you put another force onto it, such as picking it up again or shooting it up or filling it full of helium and sending it up into the stratosphere. And so I think that that's pretty much what our moon is. It is something that is hollow and is filled full of helium or hydrogen, perhaps, pretty much like anything that you call a satellite is the only way it could exist, because the satellites would also have to be doing these same speeds, and they can't also be down this same well that you're talking about in your bent space-time ridiculous theory that you pulled out your ass. There's no such thing as space-time. Time is an illusion, and yet you make all your theories around delusions. Yeah, this is what witches and wizards do. They make formulas out of thin air.
Can you please repeat that for the people that may not heard that? I may have misunderstood you, and I don't want to misunderstand. Can you please repeat what you said about the moon, please?
That it's made out of, say, something that came from Earth, which I suggest the giants mine from what we now call the Grand Canyon. That's where they got the raw minerals to do it. And when you melt stuff into making glass and glass baubles, as it cools, you get bubbles coming across it. Now, if we had a moon with all these craters on it, most of these craters face the Earth, which means that they were made from asteroids that only just missed the Earth or meteorites and made an impact on the moon and made these perfect circles. But if it was a bubble of something glass as it pops and cools down fast, that is a far better and logical explanation for why the moon has all these craters in perfect round bubbles, no sideways hits, all round ones, all straight dead on.
I'd like to respond to the last one of the two main points you made there. If that's cool. Density and buoyancy. I've been over this so many times. See this pen? Yeah? Right? You say it's going to fall because the air here is less dense than the pen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, but the air here is also less dense than the pen. And the air here is less dense than the pen. Right. And the air here is less dense than the pen.
The pen is still more dense than all that other air.
So where's
it's taking the path of least resistance to the place of next amount of buoyancy, which is where the ground is. That's why the ground is below. That's why it's called down.
It needs a vector. It needs a vector.
It doesn't.
What is, and not only
no.
Yes, it does.
Why?
Let me tell you why. Because not
what
only
is
does it
what
fall,
is.
Wait, no, I'm responding to you if you don't mind. It's my turn. Shut up. Thank you. Right? When this pen falls, not only does it fall, but it accelerates at a constant rate of 9.8 meters per second squared. That requires a force. Where's the vector come from? Where's the force come from? Where's the down come from? You can't say it's because the air and everything is less dense below, because nothing's telling it to go down.
If you didn't pick it up, it would remain at rest. The force was picking it up.
No, the force wasn't.
The force of dropping is just the natural rate of falling through the density of air. If it hit water, it's going to fall at a different rate, isn't it? Because water is more dense than air.
Okay, hold on. Let me clear this up a little bit. No, that's fine. What Fight the Flat Earth is saying here is that there are basic laws of motion. Can we agree that anything that is at rest will stay at rest until a force acts upon it?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
You bet.
So when Fight okay, so there's a force, and he's living it right there. What makes it fall down instead of staying right there in the middle of the air?
Very simple. You let it go.
Yes, you are.
And then the air
that's not the reason why it falls down.
To give it buoyancy. The air is insufficient.
You need a force to make something move. Is what he's
right. Okay.
Listen, he's trying to tell you.
Question. Do you agree that acceleration requires a force?
Yes, something will remain at a constant vector or velocity or stationary unless acted upon by an outside exerted force. So when you let it go, what force is acting upon that? Yes, we understand.
The formula for gravity is bogus.
No, right.
You've said it takes 9.8 meters per second squared.
You've just stated something that I would like you to prove. You just told me that acceleration doesn't necessarily require a force. Can you please explain that? Can you tell me at what point ever there's been acceleration that doesn't require a force?
Yeah, the force you applied to it to raise it in the first place.
Thank you, heathens, for making it to the end. Let me know which highlight was your favorite. Did you prefer Flatman or Flat Earth Jesus? Or Southern Israelite? Let me know which one was the craziest. Make sure you go down below, leave me a comment, smash that like button, and subscribe if you like this kind of content.
Don't forget to stand up and use your voice, and I will see you heathens later.